My name is Mohau Mpumela, President of Coaches and Mentors of South Africa, COMENSA for short. I'm really truly humbled and grateful for this moment. It is indeed a defining moment in the coaching, mentoring and supervision in South Africa. A concept that started on paper as a vision of inclusivity and integrating the rest of the continent of Africa. The COMENSA Africa Conference 2026 has now come into being, and I'm excited, looking forward to the professionals within the industry, our stakeholders, the role players, our clients coming to join us here and be part of this excitement. Our board had set itself a strategy of Vision 2030, which is a 5-year strategy, which is now going to be extending to the Vision 2046. As we celebrate 20 years of COMENSA, we are saying where to for COMENSA for the next 20 years.
My name's Trixie Lochner. I'm the founder of Halcyon Life Coaching, and I'm very much looking forward to being here at this in-person event and touching base with my colleagues who mostly I've seen online for the last few years. And I think there's a lot to learn and a lot to share. Looking forward to it.
I'm looking forward to attending COMENSA conference. It's my first time. I understand it's the first time conference as well. I'm looking forward really to learn about coaching and how coaching can assist people like me, even people at the workplaces. So it's all about me learning, exploring, and understanding the importance of coaching at the workplace. And I hope I'm going to get what I'm looking for. And I'm looking forward for the conference, and I hope I'm going to enjoy it. Thank you so much.
Today from the COMENSA function, I'm expecting to learn a lot about what the organization stands for, particularly as they communicated about who they are. They are a borderless organization. So we're here to learn how to partner with them and how to learn from organizations like these. And each and every single thing from the speakers, from the panelists, I'm expecting information, impact, and everything in between.
And my expectations for the day is just to sit, learn and absorb and meet as many people as possible.
It's really amazing to have one of the first COMENSA conferences at this scale. I'm doing a keynote later, and I also want to meet as many people as possible and help put coaching on the map.
I'm very happy to be here to catch up with some old coaching colleagues. So I'm looking forward to that connection and learning. Thank you.
I'm Andre Retief. I am the MACSAC Deputy Chair, and I've got quite a history with COMENSA, and we're here to make sure everything's in order.
Looking forward to welcoming you here and enjoying the moment and be part of the legacy. I thank you.
Very good morning and welcome. We welcome you with all the connections you bring, the children in your lives, your partners, your siblings, your parents, the animals, and the loved ones in your communities. You are all welcome here.
Thank you so much. The good morning I've just heard now is the good morning of a celebration. To each one of you today, thank you. I thank you for choosing to be part of this moment. Thank you for investing your time with us today. And thank you for contributing to what will become a defining chapter in our journey shared today. I encourage you over the next 2 days to engage fully, participate boldly, contribute meaningfully, because the legacy we speak about begins with you and begins now. And now, as the President of Coaches and Mentors of South Africa, it gives me a great pleasure and an honor to officially declare the COMENSA Africa Conference 2026 open. Enjoy the rest of the day. Thank you.
So for me, in congratulating COMENSA on their 20th anniversary and the theme that is so apt, seed to significance, it's not a light switch, it's an evolution. And it can't be just in and of itself, because a higher form of anything, just like management and then leadership, has to accept that it moves and starts with the self, and once you have, then you can share.
Ladies and gentlemen, I welcome Dr. Sonny Stott Rostro. Thank you.
Thank you, President Mohau. Thank you so much. I'm so thrilled to be here and to be with you here today on these 2 days of celebration of 20 years of COMENSA, which I can hardly believe. And it's because of you. It's because of the members. And I wanted to tell you a little bit about how COMENSA began. I thought you might find it fun and interesting. And then I'll talk a little bit about really the 5 current trends of coaching and mentoring. So we're going to talk about where coaching is now, education is now, AI has come into the picture, and we also have a big picture with mentoring, and we also are looking at the future and where we're going. But the first thing I want to tell you is that COMENSA started with coffee. I think that's the first thing to understand, is coffee was an core underpinning of the starting of COMENSA. And I always say that I started my career as an executive coach with coffee, because I started coaching the team leaders and CEOs that I was working with. I didn't know I was coaching them at the time, because it was in the late 90s and it was new then. And I was having conversations with them after our workshops, and they went away with 6-figure salaries. So I decided I needed to go back and get some more psychology so I could find out what I was doing that was helping them to go away with 6-figure salaries, then 7. So coffee, collaboration, working with other people, a passion for what you think is needed and for what you love, and a vision of how to get there. In terms of legacy, I would say collaboration. That's what South Africa brings to the world, is how to collaborate, how to negotiate, how to work together, and how to do it with equality and ethically. And that's the legacy I think we need to bring.
Thank you, Dr. Sunny.
It's a delight to be here today. I do many of these talks about AI and coaching all over the world, and this is my first time in South Africa that I'm speaking in front of an audience of coaches. It's highly overdue. So thank you for inviting me and for your openness. Remember, general artificial intelligence is a lifetime away or very far away. So there's no AI currently that can replace you completely. But if we're clever about how we use AI, we can do parts of what human coaches do. And I think for the African continent, this is incredible. I'm very excited about AI coaching. The more I research it, the more I realize there's a lot we don't know, but realize how much power it has. So educate yourself about AI. Don't be afraid of it, and see the potential of how we can use AI to transform this African continent to a place we cannot imagine at the moment. Thank you very much. You can connect on LinkedIn if you want. Thank you.
This panel is on neuroscience and the impact on self-development in coaching and consulting. And I'm really looking forward to learning from our expert panelists. You're going to walk away with some interesting insights.
Over the past decade, there has been research and study conducted over so many different areas in getting to know the way that we communicate via our head, heart, and gut brains.
Neuroscience is about your central nervous system, your peripheral nervous system, which are subdivided into another 5 nervous systems that all activate.
The idea here is that we are so rich with leading ourselves, and really starting to get to know ourselves better, I think, is the biggest gift.
What comes up for me was the mental health literacy. We really need to continue to educate both youngsters and oldsters around mental health and being able to improve. Thank you very much. Thanks, Sharon.
Coaches, mentors, leaders who are gathered here today. I am Teresa Muida, and I am going to facilitate this session. that looks at mental health, well-being, and the impact of trauma.
I work in the social sector, and the correlates that I see between the coaching space and the social sector is that it is often our own wound that brings us to the work. So why are you in the helping professions? What brought you to it? You started out trying to heal something for yourself and found your way into coaching. If you sound guilty of that, raise your hand. Yeah, quite a lot of people.
Many South Africans that we coach and we mentor, are very high functioning, like Doc has alluded to that we have very high functioning people. And most of them, they do carry unresolved trauma, whether we call it their childhood trauma or emanating from different losses that they would have experienced themselves. How do we then distinguish between, performance issue and a trauma response?
I really want to invite my colleagues to be lifelong learners and to equip yourselves with trauma skills. There is a wealth of information and a wealth of training worldwide. Sometimes your high-functioning CEO is with a coach. And if they have trauma-informed skills and knowledge, they can empower that person to self-regulate when there's conflict in the office or when there's a divorce at home. So trauma-informed coaching is actually part of integrative coaching. How do you know when your client needs trauma-informed coaching or they need to be referred? It is their capacity level.
My own experience is that when you talk about burnout, you're talking to the HR professional, not the C-suite. And I think for me, if the leadership embodies and takes burnout as a strategic issue in the organization, then for me that begins to say that actually we're taking it seriously. And I think that's why we do the work we do. So you see organizations that are beginning to actually appoint to the C-suite chief medical officers, chief wellness officers. It's a new term and I like, and I'm tracking this. If corporations are beginning to have the CFO and the CIO and all of that, and you're elevating the issue of wellness to the C-suite, then that's work for me.
We, as human beings, need to own where we still need to grow and learn. I'm an open book. I've been in recovery for many, many years from codependency and addiction. And I think it has grown my capacity to be very real with the clients that I work with. And I think the feedback I get is to be a peer supporter and to own that has been the most transformational thing in that space of creating safety and trust. Human beings trust human beings that are authentic and have been through something. And your narrative is important. Your narrative and your story, if you can tell it in a way that makes you feel stronger and your clients stronger, I think it's really beneficial. It supported my practice.
Big round of applause for this panel. Thank you very much for this relevant topic. I've been told to let you know there is this book on sale. I believe these are nuggets from the community. We are going to be having a discussion on social and ethical matters in coaching and mentoring.
Thank you everyone for being here. You've heard the ethical considerations that have come through every single conversation. From Professor Ponam Mohali talking to ethical leadership, to our founding president talking to AI and some of the ethical considerations. And you've heard subsequently a couple of the panel discussions also touching on ethics. And our topic talks to social and ethical matters in coaching and mentorship.
I am, trembling to listen to the challenges of the speakers after speakers raising the challenges that we face as coaches and mentors. At the board level, the board is looking very critically at social justice, amongst others, as an important element that COMENSA must be able to help the coaches to be able to impact the lives of the communities.
What is it that you specifically appeal to us as coaches and mentors to practice, to consider? And coming from the client's perspective, what is it that you would want us to be cognizant of?
The mere fact that we speak about ethics imply diversity of thought. What I see as ethical is not necessarily what that organization views as that, or the person that comes to me or to a coach feels. Therefore, the compliance or the sign up to a type of ethical conduct or a professional standard is for me particularly important, because it's a way to transcend a vehicle in between. The second part for me has to do with my responsibility as coach to be as self-aware as I possibly can be about my stuff. If I don't have that really in place with my continuous development like today offers, then I'm not sure whether if I don't do my work, can I really be of help to somebody else? With that old reminder that we teach best what we need to learn most. The unresolved things in me, probably I see that in others as well if I'm not aware. It's also ethical for me. So I, from an organizational perspective, really would like to see what's the personal development that that individual coach have done.
About 10 years ago, I fell into supervision because it was a gift given to me, and I'd been coaching for a long time. I said, why do I need this? I've qualified as a senior kind of coach, and now what do I need this? Then when I was doing the studies, I bumped into new things I hadn't seen before. Then when I started doing my research for my PhD, I found other elements that came forth. And I'd like to link them all together for you to say, hands up, who works with leaders or in organizations of those staff who have impact on others? Hands up. Okay. We have a ripple effect even if we don't realize it. So even if you're doing one-on-one coaching or you're doing coaching in an organization as part of the leadership development, it's how do you integrate what's happening in their systems. We might have our own biases, we might have our own values that we might not be aware of that could be impacting as you step into that organization. What supervision does, it is just a lens, a space to reflect.
Andrew, if I may come back to you, one of the challenges I posed to you was, what would be your favorite question in relation to other community or social justice? And you came up with quite a few. Have you made a decision on what your favorite is there, and how would you tackle it?
I think the question is, how do we make coaching more accessible and more inclusive? So I would say that it's largely positioned as a very premium service that we offer, and that creates barriers, and a lot of people's excluded. So my question would be, should we lower our fees for coaching? You probably all cringe and say, no, never. It's not about that. It's about broadening how coaching shows up. And that could be group coaching. It could also be community-based coaching. Or also, how can we implement this into our education system? Also partnering with organizations where we could have more access to people that don't usually have access to coaching. So I think there's also a mindset shift that's required to see this as, if we believe the transformative power of coaching, I think it becomes a social responsibility and not just an economic offering that we do. So in the end, it's about ensuring people can feel seen, can feel heard, and also understood in the coaching space.
Thank you so much. And a big round of applause for our panel. Dr. Peggy Marshall is an author and founder of Global Institute of Organizational Coaching, hailing from Arizona in the US of A. It's such old English, right? Woohoo!
I want to start today talking about systems thinking and how we engage in system thinking and mapping the terrain of the individual that we are working with. On March 13th, I rang the bell because my radiation had been completed and I was on to the next phase. I rang the bell at 9 in the morning, and at 4 in the afternoon, I found out that it wasn't. And the reason it wasn't is because the doctors did not map the terrain. The doctors looked at one piece of data and were high-fiving me the whole time through the process, and there were 3 other pieces of data that they ignored. And so I've spent the last month looking at how do I map the terrain for myself. And as I did that, I became passionate about how we map the terrain for our clients, because I was living the experience of mapping the terrain for me. But then I started looking at what does it mean to be a systems thinker, and how do we map the terrain for those people we work with. Earlier, there were a number of presentations this morning that talked about this very thing of systems thinking. So we are all starting to engage on what does it mean to map the terrain for the person is sitting in front of us. So today, we're going to talk about what is the terrain you are assessing? What are you using to assess the terrain? Then we're going to talk about the individual as a system. Then we're going to talk about the organization as a system, followed by the reading both together, because we can't see one without the other, and we'll pull that together. And then we're going to talk about the aligned organization. How do we pull this forward in our thinking about organizations and how they align? And then the invitation for you to think more broadly about the work that you're doing as a coach, mapping the terrain of a client. The world doesn't need more coaches with good questions. It needs coaches who can see the whole terrain and who are brave enough to work at this level where real change lives. And that's who you already are, because you're sitting in this room. So how do you take what you've learned today and think about the person who is a system and how you are mapping their terrain in a different way to help them become who they can become through system sites?
How do you go through the stage 1, which is contracting with the organization, so that it allows your lens beyond the individual into the system?
I set it up at the beginning because if we can't have a systems conversation, and I also have a mantra that says, if you broke it, I'm not fixing it. Okay? And so when I say that to the client, you broke this, you got to be part of the process for helping me fix it, because we're going to put what we do together and put them back in the same system that I'm taking it out of. So you have to really coach them. And I do many engagements to start to help them see what's possible as we move forward. Thank you for spending a half an hour with me this afternoon as we talk about how we can really help people work as a system and understand how that system breaks down.
So Doug is the CEO of AQR International in Chester in the UK, and the topic is on mental toughness. So you'll see the topics weave into each other. So as you are taking in this input from our last speaker for the day, just continue to jot down for yourself, what do I know now that I didn't know when we got into the session today?
I'm delighted and I'm privileged to share this session with you this afternoon. I hope everyone is enjoying the conference so far. The content sounds really good, and I managed to catch a little bit of the last session, which I found fascinating. And I am indeed sorry that I can't be there in person. I would have loved to have done that. Well, I'm going to be talking about mental toughness. It's a concept that maybe some of you are familiar with, but an awful lot of people still are not familiar with. And it's a concept that is bringing something new to the whole idea of people, team, and organizational development. And I liked Dr. Marshall's reference to Kahneman talking about the invisible mind, because this is exactly what we're addressing. So I'm going to be talking about mental toughness. I'm the CEO for AQR International. It was established in 1989, and we now work with coaches in around, well, just over 80 countries. And I'm very pleased to say that we're collaborating with GP Mindmaster to bring our work, particularly the mental toughness concept, to Southern Africa. I was just going to summarize that the concept and a measure we think will elevate the practice of all people development professionals. It helps to better understand everyone. It addresses the why question, not just the what question. We're able to explore to a level of close detail what makes a person. So we're going beyond typing or labeling. We're helping to create self-awareness, and self-awareness is kind of creates a virtuous spiral in that it supports engagement and empowerment. If people understand something about themselves, they're more inclined to support their own development. And it's bringing the scope for customization. We're beginning to understand its significance. And then, because it's a normative measure, and because there's a huge range of academic papers supporting it now, there's the scope for carrying out real evaluation. So I'm finished.
Thank you very much, Doug, for your time and just giving us those helpful nuggets around mental toughness. I've definitely learned so much today. So colleagues, this brings us to the end of our time together. So enjoy, meet new people, and thank you so much for the time that we've had today. Big round of applause for yourselves. Thank you.
So today was actually the first day of our COMENSA conference. It was actually so beautiful. I think what is actually so interesting is looking at the AI tools that are being introduced within the coaching spaces. They're not here to replace us, so we need to embrace them and ensure that we work hand in hand with those particular tools so that it actually expands our work. So overall, I would say the conference was actually very beautiful. All the speakers were actually amazing. And we hope to see more people coming in tomorrow, because this is actually a very interesting conference for all our professionals.
Wow, where do I start? Today was awesome. There's so much knowledge that was shared. The one that stood out for me, mental toughness. I think we need a whole lot more of that. And tomorrow I'll be coming tomorrow to come in. To come and suck and get more knowledge from people that have been in the industry for long. Awesome!
20 years of celebrating. I've been with COMENSA for 17 years. So great to get all the coaches into one room and the mentors here. We're here to have some fun together, learn, and it's been a great experience. Learning, connecting, disrupting each other's thinking, and seeing how the ripple effects we have as we do this.